we're going to travel to Germany to meet with Thomas, who runs the DTM. So, guten Tag, sir.
Oh, your German is very good.
Oh, sure.
Hello.
Excellent. So we'll leave you in the hands of Jim. Thank you very much.
Thank
You're
you.
on for the next 25 minutes.
Thank you. Hello, Jim.
Hello, V. Gates, my friend.
Oh, no, it's even better than Francisco, your German.
It was 2023 was a very exciting season for the DTM, wasn't it? Because you had 16 races, 13 teams, but probably most important, you had 5 different brands represented and 13 debut drivers. Do I have that number correct?
No, this is we have 28 drivers with 6 manufacturers.
No. Well, what I meant was you had 13 debutants, new drivers.
New drivers. Sorry. Yeah. I didn't know. Yes. Yeah. Of course, we had. But it's very necessary to have especially the young German drivers into such a series. But we are also looking for international drivers, of course.
This was a series that launched many great names: Bernd Schneider, Dario Franchitti.
Yes,
he was never a champion, but he certainly that's where he cut his teeth and got his introduction to Mercedes and that sort of stuff. Drivers many times make the sport, but also for racing series, manufacturers are a big part of it. How has the switch that you made to the GT3 cars a couple of years ago, how has that helped you with your manufacturer relations?
Unfortunately, not really. Of course, we have still a very good relationship to our manufacturers. They are building those cars, but they sell it to customers. The same system all over the world, I think. So the role of the manufacturers for DTM changed, especially last year. Since almost 40 years, we are going into the 40th year next year with the DTM. Since almost the whole time, the manufacturers played a major role. They financed not only the team but also the complete series. And if you see in the late 90s, the DTM had a Formula One standard. It was an international racing series, not only from the media point of view or a commercial point of view, but also from the technical point of view. It had at this time a Formula One standard. And now it's a GT3 series, but I think it's a little different GT3 series from IMSA or from all the SRO series which are running in all over the world. We are running with one driver. We have not with two, with all the other racing series with GT3 cars. We have a performance pit stop, which you all know from IndyCar, from NASCAR, from Formula One. And we changed to Pirelli tires this year. And I think as we ran the ADAC GT Masters for almost 20 years in Germany, we put the best things together of both series and of both worlds. Unfortunately, the manufacturers are supporting the teams with cars, with their factory drivers, with the spare part packages and all those things, but they're not supporting the series as itself as they did in former years.
Does that, in America, we have seen in the past that manufacturer involvement in a series, and as you said, like in the 90s, where they were so involved in the series, once a manufacturer reaches its marketing goals, many times it will leave a series. Does the GT3 platform, because the factories are just supporting private teams, does that give you more stability long term?
I think for me, NASCAR is a sort of role model in this thing. They are supporting the series a little bit, but they are supporting the teams and they're supporting the drivers. And I think this will work also for DTM and maybe also for other GT3 series. It makes the things more stable because manufacturers change their mind, their strategies, especially in those times where, especially in Europe, politically everything and everybody is focused on electric cars. There are laws by the European Union that after 2035 there don't have to be sold new cars with any other drivetrain than an electric one. So I think motorsport has to change, and some of the manufacturers might think about pulling out of motorsport for a few years or which time ever. So we need those series to keep them into motorsport. But the race series itself, they have to change with the changes you find in the mobility of the road cars.
Well, what kind of sustainability projects do you have? How do you plan to address this? That, as you say, 2035. That it seems like it's 12 years away, but that clock runs quickly, doesn't it?
No, it isn't, because all the car manufacturers are working on it very hard, and they're trying to sell their cars. And all the marketing project they have for the next years are all going into a electric direction, or most of them are going into this direction. We introduced a new kind of fuel almost 3 years ago in ADAC GT Masters, and we use the same fuel in DTM now. It's called Shell Blue Gasoline. It has 50% renewable and non-fossil ingredients, and it has about 30% less carbon emissions. But also, beside the technology of the cars, we have some projects. We have the project together with the technology company, a water technology company, which you might also know from Formula One, BWT. It's an Austrian company, and they are handling with water technology. We have installed water dispensers in the complete paddock to reduce the number of plastic bottles in the paddock, and with this arrangement, we have saved more than 300,000 plastic bottles per year in the paddock, and I think this is also a thing we have to be focused on, not only on the technology of the cars. We have another one since several weeks only. There is it's has to do something with the transport of spectators to the racetrack. Only 5% of the emissions of such an event, a spectator event, is from the cars directly, from the race cars on the racetrack. The other 95% of emissions are from the logistics and the spectator traveling. And we have a carpool app which we use directly by ADAC. We found it by ADAC, and this carpool app we now use to bring the people together to go together to the race venues.
That's amazing. That I visited Zandvoort this year for the vintage car race, and it was wonderful to see that the public transport virtually took you to the front door of the racetrack. So anything you can do like that is a huge plus, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It has to be more accepted in Germany. It's not really accepted. I think it's America. It's better than in Germany. Everybody wants to go with his own car, but we are working on it.
Your season just finished up about 4 weeks ago. Were you pleased with the season?
Yes, Yes. For the first year, you see, we got the rights to do DTM. We received the rights. At this time last year, beginning of December. So we had plenty of time to prepare the season. Even if we started in end of May last year, which is late for normally in Germany, we started in middle of April due to the weather conditions in Germany. But we started in late May this year. 28 cars was much for us in the first season, and the spectators honorized the very good sport we found this year. We had 12 different winners in 16 races, 6 manufacturers. We had stars like Mirko Bortolotti and Thomas Preining, who was champion. Very hard fights, but no major accidents with burned cars or something that we found over the last years. We have very stable TV ratings in Germany. And so, yeah, for the first year, I think it was okay. We had one thing we found out, we had over 30% of the spectators were younger than 16.
Wow, that's a marketing man's dream, isn't it?
Yeah, if you see on the grandstands of a motor racing event, you normally find people of our age.
Yes, it's nice to see full heads of hair as opposed to gray balding folks in the grandstands. Now, at the beginning of the season, you broke a record with 9 different winners in the first 9 races.
Yes.
As you said, you had I believe it was 12 different winners over the season.
Yes, in 39 years, this never happened before.
Never happened. Yeah. Now, Thomas Preining, as you said, was the champion, but the championship went right down to the wire. He had to win the last 2 events back to back at Hockenheim, didn't he, to clinch the title?
Yeah. It was astonishing because after the first race, he got 20 kilogram more weight in the car, and he also with this extra weight, he won the race. It was a little bit of pity for the spectators because he got champion in the qualifying on Sunday morning, because in DTM the first 3 of the qualifying received 3, 2, and 1 point, and with those 3 points he got into the qualifying on Sunday morning. He got champion, and so people watching the race on Sunday afternoon, they did see a champion, and he won the race, but he was champion in the qualifying.
He celebrated in grand style, which we would say here in America, with a victory.
Yeah, and it was the first Porsche win of DTM in their 75th years of Porsche existing, and so they did everything right.
Yeah, good year all the way around. Now, you mentioned the balance of performance. Now, for many of the folks who would be on this Zoom session that we have, balance of performance can be a dirty word, as we would say here in America.
Sometimes dirty, sometimes good.
Yeah, exactly. Depending on which end of the balance you're on, right? Do you? How does the DTM handle that? It's fraught with public relations. It's fraught with keeping your constituents, which you're serving 2 masters. You're trying to give the fans great racing, and of course, all racers will always want that advantage. So how do you do your BOP, and how do you then balance with the constituents once you balance the field?
We make it easy and simple. We use the BOP of SRO, of Stefan Rattel. We have the same tire on our cars as he has in most of his series. And he knows all the German racetracks. And I think it works very well. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, yeah, depending on which car, and it's very hard to balance all those different types of cars, V6, double turbo, twin turbo, 10 cylinder combustion cars without any turbo, the engine in the front, engine in the back, engine in the middle. So it's very hard to balance those cars, and everybody wants to win, of course. And you see, if you see inside one brand, you see the difference between the drivers. It's not always the same driver running in front with the same balance of performance, and that what it makes. And we are, of course, there's always room to improvement or for improvement, but for us it worked very well this year. On the first 6 places of the championship, we had 5 different manufacturers. So I think,
yeah,
more or less it's okay.
Yeah, you can't ask for anything more.
But it's a science for itself.
Speaking of the technology, you've run the GT3 cars since 2001. We've talked a little bit about sustainability and obviously the politics of moving the motoring industry towards electric cars. What kind of future technologies are you maybe looking at for 2024? Anything you can tell us about yet?
For 24, we will of course stay with GT3 and GT4 cars. But for the future, I think in 5 or 6 years, we started negotiations with the manufacturers and also with the suppliers. Schaeffler, for example, is a very good example. They're very keen, and they're a partner of DTM. They are very keen also on the future DTM cars. And I think we have to have parallel systems. I think we should run combustion engine cars as long as we are allowed to. Of course, running them with e-fuel or something like that, which is carbon neutral. But I think we have also to develop electric cars, because our series road cars might be electric cars in the near future, more and more. I was in Scandinavia a few weeks ago. They have almost 30% of all the cars running in Scandinavia are electric cars now. It's the same aim for Germany for 2030 to run 20% of all the series road cars with battery electric. So I think motor racing has also to move in this direction. But this don't have to mean that that combustion engine cars will stop. Why? I think we can have a parallel lines for the next 10, 15, 20 years. We are a little bit depending on what will go on our roads, and as soon as people on the roads are going with electric cars, they also want to see motor racing with electric cars. But as long as they don't drive those cars on the road, I think they are not so interested as some of us will think at the moment. So we are in negotiation with the manufacturers, how their plans are. We start now. We have a next meeting in middle of December here in Munich. And also we are also in negotiation and talks with other promoters, with other racing promoters, especially the Japanese guys from Super GT approached us a few weeks ago, and they are sitting on the table here in the middle of December. And of course, we will integrate other race series promoters, for example, IMSA or SRO or ACO if they want. And we will also integrate other car manufacturers in the discussion. Because at the moment, no one did find any solution for racing with electric cars without making everything equal. Formula E at the beginning was a one-make car.
Mm-hmm. When you, I think motorsport though is going to, because of its history, is always been the place where car makers have come to prove the automobile. And that's how racing started in 1923 with Le Mans. I mean, the whole purpose was to prove the viability, proof of concept for the motor car. And I think that auto racing is going to be the natural platform for the manufacturers to prove their products, will it not?
Yes, of course. But in the last 10, 20 years, we left out some technologies which are now in the road cars. We left it out on purpose in the race cars, because race cars always should be fast and quick and reliable and everything else. But the normal road cars are all that, and they are much more. I think, for example, only a small example, why can't a race car be driven autonomously in safety car conditions? Why do you have to steer a race car in safety car conditions? I think this is this is a part. I think we have to overthink for the next future for the future spectators. What are they interested in?
I think there are probably some Formula One engineers out there that would love to be able to control the car from a distance.
Why not? If you saw the race
Formula
yesterday,
One, probably
virtual safety car, everybody, the one is going in 82 kilometers per hour, the next is going 78. So why don't make it equal? No advantage for anybody. Put your hand off the wheel and let it drive in those safety car periods autonomously, and then go ahead as a driver.
In the final couple minutes that we have left, you talked a little bit about your television and how stable your numbers were. Again, as a TV guy for most of my career, in the production area, and part of the Speed Sport 1 network that's launched this year. In fact, DTM was one of our anchor broadcasts. So thank you very much for giving us some outstanding competition that fans could see on Speed Sport 1. How do you expand your media footprint for 2024?
Also in Germany, regular TV stations are important, still important, but of course streaming platforms are growing and growing and growing, and all over the world. So this is our first aim. We have a TV contract with Pro7. It's a free premium TV broadcaster here in Germany. We have 70 live broadcasters all over the world. But I think the next step would be to improve our streaming platforms, and going to foreign streaming platforms in foreign countries, in different countries, on all continents. And of course, social media is playing a big role. Unfortunately, we don't have the possibility at the moment, as Stephen Phelps told us in the interview before, to have an own Netflix series or something like that. But I don't want to copy everybody else. So we are thinking about other type of programs together with our home broadcaster here in Germany.
And who should we be on the lookout for in 2024, driver-wise? Any announcements you can make? Will we see Thomas trying to repeat? What's the outlook for the 2024 competition?
I don't know. I don't. We started the entries now last week ago. Of course, I think both drivers of Up Sportsline coming with an Audi with Red Bull support. So Kelvin van der Linde and Ricardo Feller, you always have to have a look at. Thomas, I hope will come back to the series. Mirko Bortolotti, who was second this year and the year before, he should be champion in the next year. But we will see.
Well, thank you very much for your time, and I certainly look forward to watching the great excitement that DTM always brings to the racing fans.
Thank you for having me on the program.
Dankeschön, Thomas. Thank you very much. I'm glad
Your German is better than my English.
My French is better of them all. So now we're delighted to have the DTM. That was very important for me to make sure we had your series covered. So
registering on Epartrade is easy. To start, click on the Join for Free button on the homepage. First, search your company to see if it's already in our database. If you see your company on the list, click on it to select it. Then, choose Claim Company if you are one of the decision makers, an owner, marketing person, or main company contact. Or choose Join Company if you are an employee, and press Continue. If you couldn't find your company in our database, select Register a New Company. On the following page, fill out your name, email, phone number, job title, and choose a secure password. If you chose Register a New Company, you'll need to choose your business type. Select Supplier if you're looking to display products or services and connect with buyers. Choose Racing Business if you're looking to source new parts and connect with suppliers. Choose Race Team if you own or are a member of a professional race team. Then, enter your company name. Please provide a website, Facebook page, or LinkedIn if you have one, and choose to either claim or join the company. You can view and agree to our terms of use here. If you'd like to receive our weekly newsletter, choose Accept. Finally, click Register Now and your registration will be submitted for approval. An email will be sent to your inbox. Please confirm your email address and you will be approved shortly. Welcome to Epartrade.